Aloha and welcome in. I am Kapualani and we are here with your timeless guidance. So I am going to give my tuning fork just a few more chimes here to officially cleanse and open up the space. And I offer you a moment in silence to just pray or meditate on any goals or intentions that you have for our time together today. All right. So just connecting to your breath, breathing deeply in through the nose and exhaling through the mouth with a ha or a sigh. Again, tuning in and focusing on any goals or intentions that you have for our time together in this moment. All right, so I just want to thank you for your presence here and let you know in advance that should any of these messages resonate, I invite you to check out my website, kapualani.com/extensions for part two to this video. If you are not already subscribed, I encourage you to subscribe, like, comment as it resonates. But let's see what messages are coming through for us in the here and now. Okay, so spirit, right away, justice. Whoa, scales of justice. Karmic balance coming into alignment. We've got Libra energy with the justice card. I feel like, when I see this energy, we're just immediately any of the ancestral healing or clearing, any of that core generational healing, clearing, trauma healing, clearing that you've been working toward, we're shifting to the other side of that. Okay, we're going to be shifting to the other side of that. Any areas where there is a sense of righteousness, where there's been an imbalance, where things have not been fair for you, that's where there are things that are going to be revealed. Partly of what I'm getting here. And let's see, spirit, what is this justice card alluding to? What are we connecting to this energy here? Okay, so okay, yeah, look at that. Three of Swords, conflict, conflicting energies, past, present, and future coming into alignment, things being restored, balance being restored, justice being acknowledged here, a sense of right and wrong about, I'm getting that collectively, whether or not there are people who are ready to accept this, to embrace this, to acknowledge this. There's this how should I put this, spirit? Almost like this threshold of energy, this collective consciousness of awakening to the not just the core wounds and the imbalances and all of this ownership and responsibility of past pains, traumas, and heartaches, but there are still yet others, right? That you may have been in conflict with, and I feel this at a very core past life level. All of those lessons that have seemed to be repetitive, that you're just like, okay, like how many times am I gonna have to address this, how many times am I gonna have to blah blah blah, all of those loose ends are like being tied up. And not just are they getting tied up, but they're like breaking off. The things that have made you feel like bound and chained to certain traumas or pains, it's like there's this sense, I don't know why, but right now I just keep hearing like righteousness that's coming through. It's cutting through the stuff. It's cutting through the discord and the distortion, cutting through like a knife. Okay, wherever again there has been imbalance, it's being acknowledged, it's being made right, it's being restored. Where you may be feeling torn between past regrets of shoulda, woulda, coulda, and fears of the future. What if this, what if that, to the point where, it's like that freeze state, where you just kind of get locked into a space of like helplessness, confusion, again, that word distortion. Not only again is it being acknowledged, but if you have felt conflict, if you have been drawn in to even like with the Three of Swords, it can be like third party interferences of things, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a job related, whatever the case may be. Um, there the dynamics of what brought all that up, what karmically and energetically manifested, like why all of that stuff has manifested. It's like it's coming to a turning point. It's kind of, there's a pivot point that we're coming to. Okay, something that has been causing a thorn in, like a thorn in your side, a pain point, it's being acknowledged. There is a form of conflict that I almost get, like, rather than in the past people could just throw their stuff at you or dump their stuff at you, they were not taking ownership, or maybe even to an extent you were not taking ownership, and there's no blame here, but it's just about getting to that point of self-awareness, of awakening, right? And so, where we have been unconscious or subconscious to the part that we play in our own, manifestations, or what part other people have played in creating pain for others or yourself for that matter, it's almost like this justice card is saying no more, no more. You're going to have to, there's a containment that's happening, a sacred containment, in terms of just having where everyone is kind of being like, I want to say forced, but I mean this in a very sacred, aligned sort of way. Everyone's being given that space to acknowledge their part, and not in a sense of like guilt and shame, but so that we can address and awaken. Okay, address and awaken. And so let's see. So, Spirit, there's a I am present to like root energy here, and then we have this Seven of Pentacles. So yeah, and part of it, let's get to a bit more of a mundane circumstance that doesn't maybe have to be quite as deep as all of what was coming through on the core level. um this is giving you the space to acknowledge, okay, I've been investing so much of myself, my energy, my time, my value into these people, into these experiences, into this like form of work, into, this career path. And it's like, all right, what is actually worth it? You guys, if you've been with me for a while, you've heard me say this time and time again, especially with the Seven of Pentacles. But what is worth it is the effort that I'm putting in, is the investment that I'm making, is it worthwhile? How worthwhile? What can I do to alleviate certain things for myself so that I'm not just, like sweating it for no reason? Like, I want that to matter. I want there, you know what I mean? And it's not for a tit for tat kind of situation, but it's literally about compartmentalizing your time, energy, and value accordingly, rather than it just kind of, what is it that they say, throwing pearls to swine type thing. The other part here is that Spirit wants you to know that, you know, in spite of what may not be obvious in terms of the developments that you're making and the growth that's been happening, that's been occurring, you know what I'm saying? Like, you may not fully see the results that you've been holding space or you've been working toward, but there are results nevertheless. Like, maybe you're like, yeah, I see, I plan to see it, I see a few shoots, but I have no idea how long it's going to take before I have an actual, solid crop. So, you know what I mean, before the fruit can be ripened. I mean, I'm like, yeah, maybe, like, I'm starting to see shoots here, but those are just leaves and branches. I'm not seeing the fruit, that's developing. Or if I do, it's like maybe just little seedlings of it. And I turn my back 1 minute and it's like the wind carries it off, or something comes and plucks it away. And so there's something here about taking inventory, taking stock, and observing based on your efforts. How can you alleviate certain areas where it's just been a lot of hard work? How can we create a more efficient situation here? And right away, Five of Swords, it's like mind over matter. Yeah, mind over matter. Now, what you say about how you say it, how you treat yourself. I feel like this comes up quite a bit at times in terms of our inner dialogue. and how we speak to ourselves. I just saw 949 on the timer. So if you feel savvy to checking that out, angel number 949, please go ahead and check that out. See if it has a resonance for you. And feel free to add it to the comments. I encourage you to add it to the comments because I'm sure that there are others who may be curious as to what that number could mean. And so I would appreciate that. But at any rate, this is sort of helping you to see how maybe, old, outdated ways of being and of thinking and of doing things, how it's no longer serving you, how it hasn't been serving you, so that you can make that adjustment. There's definitely a mental conflict in terms of just saying, like, am I being treated fairly? If not, what can I do about it? What power do I have to affect change in my own reality in that way? And in terms of being treated fairly, like, am I treating myself fairly? Sometimes we're very self-sacrificing, and it's just this inherent, it comes from a wounded inherent place of self-worth. It comes from just, we don't need to go that deep into it, but it does, the self-sacrifice thing, sacrificial lamb, if like, that's coming to an end. It's not necessary. It was never necessary, but especially now, we don't need to keep ourselves chained to those kind of outdated, distorted patterns. Right. And so there's something about recognizing and taking ownership of the part that we played in our own conflict, not to the point of self-punishment. We're not here to punish ourselves or to judge ourselves or others, but we're here to empower ourselves, to set ourselves free from those outdated, again, distorted cycles and patterns. Okay. So there's something here about how you are also viewing yourself and your circumstances, and not being too harsh of a critic of yourself or others around you for that matter. And this isn't even about having compassion. Ooh, I had some cards fly to the side, so give me one moment here. Got the rest of our spread popping out. All right, to be fair, we have a King of Wands reversed. Okay, so the vision may be a little bit blocked. There may be someone, or you may feel as though you're having to play a role that doesn't really fit you anymore. Okay. And so it's almost like you get this sense of acknowledging that the person who you were is no longer who you are, and definitely is no longer who you want to be. Okay. So there's something about switching that flip in your mental, in your mindset. And you know what I mean? Recognizing how there are certain habits, like just ingrained habits that, like muscle memory, that's being reset. Something is blocked right now. There's some kind of energy that we're having difficulty acknowledging and empowering ourselves to overcome here. Um, However, and we also have a revelation as our outcome, which we like. Look at this: Judgment and the Page of Pentacles. So this may not be you. Keep in mind, this may be someone around you. So with the King of Wands, it doesn't need to be the case, but I will acknowledge the zodiac signs, the fire signs, Leo, Aries, Sagittarius. Okay, whether it's timing that this energy may come up, this person may come through. How should it, there's just a lot of loaded message, guys, I apologize. But there will be some form of revelation, a realization, and an opportunity to make things right is what I'm getting. Okay, there's a reason for everything, a reason and a season for everything. But where there's like a false mask, where there's, okay, thank you, spirit, like imposter syndrome, where you feel like, okay, I don't want to like play this role anymore for the group. Like, I feel as though there may be some false identity or false identification, and maybe it's something that you've awakened to, you're awakening to, that again, there's this feeling of, I don't want to do this anymore, I don't want to play this game anymore, I don't want to get caught up in this pattern, this cycle anymore, I don't want to keep doing these things, I don't want to keep engaging these habits anymore. But it's kind of like, I don't know how to change, I don't know, like, how do I stop? It's like I get this cold turkey kind of feeling where it's like, ugh, I just gotta like cut myself off from it, and it's like, it's almost as though the message that I'm getting from spirit is like, I'm getting off of this ride, I'm getting off this roller coaster, it's my choice, I have to actively do that. And there's a realization here that it is your choice. There's divine guidance coming through, to support you and to validate you in that decision, in choosing to no longer participate in a certain conflict of insanity. I feel that this involves other people, whether it's family members, and sometimes we unintentionally, right, get sucked into certain conflicts, or you know what I mean, where like the discord or the distortion, because it's just, that's just the dynamic of it. That's not true anymore, and it's never been true. But now we're awakening to the simple fact that, you know what, I don't need to do this anymore. I don't need to play this game. I don't want to lose that relationship or that connection or whatever it is. But it's also like, how worthwhile is it? It's not worth it anymore. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that it was worth it before, but now that you're starting to realize the, like, how unhealthy something may be, or if someone, or whatever the case, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, I see like how I haven't really fully been stepping into my power, how I've disempowered myself by allowing myself to get sucked into this, or by participating in this way, or by reacting in this way because I wasn't fully conscious to it. And now I'm realizing, and I'm seeing the opening for me to step out of this, to transform this, to choose something new. Okay, Page of Pentacles, to choose something new. The Judgment energy, I believe in. Please, if you're if you're feeling it, look up the zodiac sign associated with Judgment. I believe, because I always get, like, I looked it up, and I feel like I've seen an association with Scorpio, with Leo, with Libra potentially. Okay, when we have the Judgment card. And I'm feeling a timing of 30 days because I believe Judgment is aligned with 30-day cycle or energy or timing of something. So there's something about 30 days potentially being significant in terms of fully clearing out of a pattern, or acknowledging something, or processing something, or seeing the results of something coming through. This Page of Pentacles, a new way of how should I put this? Generally, with the Page of Pentacles, we think about trade or like a hobby. I feel that it's about planting a new seed. There is a new beginning here. Be curious, be inquisitive. When we see pages, there's potential that's undeveloped, that we're having this opportunity to tap into new experiences gained here, seeing something from a new perspective, having again a revelation, an epiphany about what was and what's not working, and seeing a way through, not just a way out, okay, but seeing a way through and to the other side, understanding and knowing that it's not just you're going to the other side of the tunnel and there's nothing there. It's like, all right, no, but there is a new beginning. There's fertile soil for you to plant that seed. Something that you've been working on that has felt like it's eluded you, or that it's been something of a struggle, that you maybe had a challenge seeing beyond, like, even if it's just a manifestation of a future desire, like a career path, for example, is what I'm getting. And I'm going with that because of this Page of Pentacles. On an action based level, it's like, okay, I can, sort of hold the vision for it, but like, I just can't see, you know what I mean? And I can see the steps. I know on a practical level, even certain steps that need to be taken, but I'm just, for whatever reason, I just don't know. Like, I'm just getting this feeling of like this apprehension to, like, the timing of it doesn't feel right to actually like execute a certain plan, whether it's like I said, a career thing where you're wanting to become an entrepreneur. Like, yeah, I know, like, to do that, I got to go get a business license and this and that. Like, I have it like listed out in terms of steps to take, but the actionability, like taking the action to do it, seems to be eluding me. Like, it's right there, but for whatever reason, like this feeling of procrastination. And there's a realization about that where it's like, we don't need to go into this heavy duty backstory because we were already busted through it. It's something that we're working through. Okay. And so we're like, all right, I don't need to make this any more complicated than it already has been. I've crossed that threshold, and now I can just start to focus on the new. There's something here about allowing yourself to embrace feeling like the new, kind of like the new kid on the block again, or something like that. Whatever is feeling childlike again, or just new and a little bit inexperienced, so therefore vulnerable. Like, all right, like I want to start this new business, and just being in the excitement of it, not needing to weigh yourself down with pressure about delivering. Like, you don't need to worry about what's happening next year. We just need to lock that seed in. and start doing the work to help that seed to take root, right? That's the work, is to get that seed of space for stability, right? We have all of the basic stuff of the steps that we need to take here. Okay, there are things that are, again, I know that I've made a certain level of progress beyond my awareness. I'm not exactly seeing the results that I want yet, even if I am seeing certain results. And it's about, again, okay, so Spirit's saying, don't psych yourself out. Don't put too much, don't, like, try to take the pressure off of yourself, in terms, I hear like performance anxiety kind of thing. Okay, because there's going to be some form of clarity coming within the next 30 days about where to focus your efforts and your energies. All right, especially if, again, you feel like you've just been working at something and not quite seeing the progress that you would like to see. All right. Wow. Okay. I don't know about you guys. For myself, and just the downloads, that kind of went by quickly. So just as a little bit of a note, I'm going to pull next from our animal spirit deck, and just give the downloads that I receive on that. In part two, as I mentioned, we're going to read from the book here. We're also going to be, and sorry for my loyal um Ohana here, soul group, who's been showing up. But yes, no questions for the angels. We're going to ask the angels some yes, no questions, or a question, and see what they say. And we're also going to be going to the romance angels. And I always say this doesn't need to be about romance or love, but can be what you're passionate about, or just something in general. It's okay. We'll get there. All right. So let's see, Spirit, what is the animal spirit that has a message for us. And I'll leave the link to part two, to the extension, in the comments and in the description box below. All right, we've got mouse energy. I tend to go to the word scrutiny sometimes when I see mouse. I feel like part of what I'm getting here too is nitpicking. So try to hold back from any areas where you may be getting a little bit too focused on the details and maybe nitpicking at things. Use your senses wisely. There's something here with, I'm feeling like, how should I put this? There's something, oh, it goes to the, like intelligence, and looking over the details but not getting caught up in them. Okay, and I also want to say that with this mouse energy that's small, you know what I mean, you may not feel like you're the most successful or the most capable, but it has something to do with, like, mattering, like you still matter, being, how should I put this, if you're feeling vulnerable, like the little guy, for example, you still have a significant part to play. And please forgive me if this is like really cheesy, but I'm thinking of that cartoon character, Mighty Mouse, here I come to save the day, or something like that. So if that means something to you, like, number one, I'm hearing you don't need to put that kind of pressure on yourself to perform, but you do have it in you. You do have it in you. So I'm getting, yeah, use your senses. There's something about smell, the sense of smell, and also doing something, I don't know why, but I'm gonna have to say this, hopefully this resonates for someone. But kind of like being undetected, there may be certain things or conversations where it's like less is more, just go ahead and do the thing. Don't worry about needing to explain yourself, or to overanalyze or overthink things. You've got this. All right. Oh, 23 on my timer as I shared that message. So, at any rate, I will see you in part two. And if you didn't know, I do offer those, part two at a sliding scale rate. Pay what you can. So whatever you can, from like $1.11 suggested up. All right. But I will see you in part two. And I thank you so, so much for being here. Till next time.